All right, we're going to jump right into this. Thanks everybody for coming on a Sunday night instead of a Monday morning. As I think most of you know, we're heading off to Mexico tomorrow morning with some winners of our incentive trip from last year. So we'll still be available, but a little out of pocket, but we will be traveling during our normal base shop time. So we moved it to tonight, right before Danny Young's call. But we got a lot of cool content for you. So we're going to get into it. But as we do that, the one thing we always want to do is, if you guys know this already, some shout outs. A little bit lower attendance tonight because we moved it around, but does anybody have any shout outs tonight that they want to do for either their agents? Oh, too fast. We'll get into that. I'm not leave some mystery. But what shout outs do we have out there tonight? We gotta have a couple.
I think I have some. Sarah wrote like I don't even know how many apps, which was amazing. So that's one for sure.
What did she do?
13.
13 apps?
Yeah, she had messaged me and then you and I were on the phone and like within we weren't on the phone for 2 hours, but within just like a couple of hours, she was already in SNA. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah, I wish she was on here, but yeah, we'll make sure. Hopefully, she sees the recording. Great job, Sarah. Love just watching. You know, the thing that I saw behind that, Brittany, that inspired me the most with her was cornerstone number one, was just the belief in this and going out there and just, saying, hey, you gotta get some coverage. And it just kind of snowballed on her in a good way. So, great shout out. Love it.
All right.
Sorry, I'm knocking out some of these. All right. Any other shout outs we got out there? Oh, I'll do some shout outs, but they won't like it. But they will because they're shout outs. All right. Anything else we got out there for shout outs?
I'm going to give a shout out to Brooklyn McDermott and Jennifer Caldwell. I think they're both on here, and the masses that they are bringing. I hope all of you are following them on social media. Jennifer Hill, so many others. I hate to even call it names. Brittany Beach, but Crystal Johnson, I think part of that. Guys, this thing is going to blow up even bigger than you guys have been seeing. And anything you want is possible here. And I'm telling you, there are people desperate for an opportunity. It's crazy. You put out a post that's like, hey, if you could make an additional 3,000 to 5,000 a month, you never know who's been praying, hoping, believing that someone had something like that out there for them. So, as Danny would say, don't be selfish. If it's good enough for you, share it with others. So, fired up, Brooklyn, Jennifer, you're the masses you guys are bringing in. The rest of us, like, let's try to keep up. I don't even know. Just super excited for all the new folks coming in. And if this is your first Space Shop call, we're so excited to have you. We'll open it up to do some quick introductions if anyone wants to introduce themselves. But if you feel like you're getting in and you have no idea what you're doing, welcome. That is all of us. Every single day. We are all a work in progress. And we all practice what we preach. We will never, ever, ever talk about something that we are asking you to do that we're not doing ourselves. And so look around. If you find another smiling face in the space shop that you're like, oh, that can be my buddy. Be buddies. Get an accountability partner. Get a running buddy to do this business with. It'll make it a whole heck of a lot more fun. And help you guys grow and figure this thing out together.
I do have a little shout out. Allison and Crystal and Charmaine all passed their tests this week. So they're just anxiously waiting for contracting and all that to be done and waiting for their license to come in.
Awesome. Great job.
Love it. Jen, what do you got?
Well, Jennifer Hill is on here and she hit SNA last week. I don't know if anybody else is on here. I can't see. I think she does have someone that popped on that she needs to introduce, but also just shout out for Megan. I'm excited to hear from her tonight, but she's helping me out with the Razor Ridge lead that went way over my head. So I appreciate it as well.
No, that is perfect. Yes, we'll be talking about that here a little bit later. I don't think Jennifer Hill is on here, but
She
that's-
is.
She is.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
too many people. Oh my, Jennifer, you're okay.
Look for the magical mountains.
That's right. Hey,
Always. She's always in the mountains.
all right. So we'll go to Wes really quick for a shout out, and then we'll.
All right, so I got a couple of shout outs. One's gonna be the Murphys. The Murphys have jumped in deep into the level up, and I love how much they pour into what's going on. Second one is going to be for Richard Scott. Richard Scott. And this man right here, watch out for this guy. He's coming in strong and fast. And honestly, I'm so proud of him. He is pouring into everything I have asked him to do. It's a little delays coming in his way, but he does everything I ask him to do. And this guy's going to be something to watch for. So there's 2 shout outs for me.
Love it.
Love it.
Yeah. All right. I want to do a quick little shout out to a bunch of people. I'm not going to say any names, and you're probably going to think I'm talking about you, but you're not alone on this. But to those of you guys that reach out that are struggling, it was a lot of that this week. I mean, a lot of it. And again, you're probably like, oh yeah, you're talking about me. I was like, no, I mean, I am, but I'm talking about several other people. And like, if this business were easy, everybody be doing it. If you could, knock the cover off the ball every week, it wouldn't be worth it in what we do, right? We can't have success without failure. But I always know, and I always tell you guys, it's what you do with it. And so for those of you that reach out all the time, that are like your attitude, your positivity, even though you may feel more negative, like I hear it, I see it, and I'm just like, this is amazing, because I love struggle. I love it when you guys struggle, because I know if you're going to be successful here, the success has to be on the other side of that struggle. It's just, what are you going to do with it? And so many of you are just amazing. And the best thing I can see is that you believe in yourself. And if you are doubting that, you're borrowing my belief in you for just a little bit, and do that. Borrow it for as long as you have to until you believe it for yourself. And that's just what I saw this week over and over and over again. And those conversations used to be really draining, and they aren't, because of you guys and just where you're at and how you receive it and how bad you want this. So that's my shout out. I want to throw out names, but there's just a lot of you, and I love it. Keep it coming, because that's how you're going to get good here.
Well, and I think also, it's easy to get on these calls and see the leaderboards and not know the story behind the numbers. And whether your name's on there or it's not, or it was at the top of the leaderboard last month and it's not this month, it's easy to make assumptions, or it's easy to make judgments about that. And it just takes a couple months, maybe even a couple weeks in this business to know that getting consistency here is hard, and showing up week after week is all that it takes. We can't promise that you're always going to be on the top of the leaderboard. You may not even be on the leaderboard from one week to the next. But if you continue showing up and you continue doing the work, it will level out, and you will reap what you sow. And so for those that are in, just like Marty was saying, a sowing season, we get it. We have lived there. We're still there in many rights. And so I just pray that you guys don't feel alone in that, and that it really is an encouragement to you to keep reaching out and keep reaching within yourself. I know you guys probably see Michael Matthews on here. He's going to share a little bit of his story. And it's easy for you to make assumptions that he's always lived on the top of the leaderboard, but he has quite a story to tell of how he got there. So excited to hear from him tonight, and excited for you guys to hear more of the story.
All right, before we move on, any quick introductions? I saw, where did Jennifer Hill's cousin go? Where did he go? Hit him up. Tell him to get back on here. I saw him get on here and off.
He said his phone is dying.
Well, how about this? He was on here for a second. Do you want to introduce him and then make him watch the recording?
Right. And my cousin Eric, he's studying for his test and he's so excited to join us.
Yeah. And he's already like got his list of people he's going to recruit and salesmen and just no insurance background, but he saw this and he's just like, can I start recruiting? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, I have a list of all these sales guys that I know that are looking for something better. And he's not even licensed yet.
Right.
Yeah.
So proud of him.
Yeah. All right. Now you have to make him watch it.
Right.
Watch the recording. Yeah. All right. Any other introductions? I know, Wes, you said Scott's on here. Scott, do you want to introduce yourself really quick?
Yeah, certainly. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
All right, all right. I live in Huntsville, Alabama, and I got my license back during COVID where I was just trying to figure out some things. I had a business for over 15 years, and unfortunately, COVID took care of that. And I connected with you guys through one of your, I think it was one of your LinkedIn posts, and then connected with Wes, and here we are.
Love it. And we're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Love to see what you're going to do here. So if Wes thinks you're going to be awesome, then that's a done deal already. So got to live up to that standard. All right. What else? Any other introductions on here? I think I see a few new names. Or no, do we have them all? It's hard to keep up sometimes.
We'll jump in. If you guys want to interrupt and do an introduction, let us know.
Yeah. If you have not introduced yourself before, feel free to unmute and be in that awkward place.
Of sorts. The Sunday night
Yeah.
thing is so
Throw
weird.
us off. All right, we will move on. What was we got? All right,
We got
let's
some good
yeah,
content
let's
tonight.
get to it. All right, that's our shout outs. You can introduce yourself on band if you missed it. But here we are for this is for last week so
No,
far.
this is the month.
Oh, sorry, this is the month up to date, I believe. So we are at $81,611 with 21 riders, and this is just the base shop in here. This isn't the whole master agency. So we love showing what you guys are doing on this. We got a
So
bunch
we
of new
always like
riders.
to, for the new people, make sure everyone understands what a base shop is because it's kind of weird. We have within the master agency, we have 2 other agencies that have already broken out. So Smith Family Agency that Michael Matthews is a part of, and the Barnes Life Solutions. And so these are the folks that are direct to us that have not broken out yet. So we're waiting for to kick some of you out of the nest. Just kidding. We really don't kick anyone out of the nest, but for when you become your own agency, you kind of establish your own culture and identity. And so that's everyone in the base shop is outside the other agencies. And we always like to highlight this group is always at the top of the leaderboards, most months leading over the other agencies, and we love to keep it that way because we like good competition and you guys are amazing. So here's the numbers.
All right, we're going to get into it. A lot of first-time riders and some SNAs. So I'm going to try to keep up with all of this. But Stuart Bidwell with 1 app. Christina Mandolfo, first-time rider, 2 apps, along with Carl Schuster, first 2 apps. Laura Quezada with her first app, along with Travis Green and Valentine Nufaro. I'm going to go Nufor. I'm going to work on that one. Patrick Zimmerman with 1, myself with 2, TJ Canan with his first app. Brooklyn McDermott with 2. We just talked about her, had a shout out, Sarah Ballard, 13 apps. She is a new SNA, just crushing it. Listen, they're obviously not huge apps, but that doesn't matter. She's protected 13 people. I think that's the amazing number to see. Not so much the APV, but like that's the power of belief in what we do is to be able to help that many people. I always say the money will follow that every time. Nick Castro with 5 apps. Mike Corrado with 3, Wes Allen with 4, Jennifer Hill with 6, which makes her an SNA. Those should all be announced on the national call next week, so be on the lookout for that. Karen Allen with 7, Brittany Honeycutt with 6, Holton Wyatt with 4, Bree Hillman on a tear with 10, Chris Murphy coming in nice and solid with 7 apps. But leading in the APV is Megan Armale, 8 apps, $11,118.12. congratulations to everybody. I think we are set up for a massive final week to put us well over 100,000. I know what you guys can do. I could see us hitting 150,000 this week. It would be a massive week, but y'all's activity and belief is through the roof. I'm just excited to, I'm always just excited to see, like, what are you going to do for you? And that is the fun part. We get to sit back and support and help and teach and guide and mentor. And I think Danny Young said that he probably did say it, because I just repeat everything he says, but like, stick around here long enough for this system to pull the greatness that's inside of you out of you. You just got to stick around long enough to let that happen. That's the part I see about this. And that's what amps us up. So that's what we got going on. And then our levels of leadership, we got Wes Allen with 5 riders, 2 new riders, 24,759. Feel an AO run in their near future. And then Karen Allen, no relation to Wes Allen, 2 riders, 17,629. But that Karen Allen, Wes Allen agency, better watch out for Karen Allen. She is she's on it, and you know it. All righty. And then leaders on the grow. They don't have the title yet. That will probably change next week. We'll see a new title here, so stay tuned. Watch the national call. Brittany Honeycutt, 6 apps, 13,957. Brooklyn, 6 riders. Brooklyn McDermott with 3 riders, 8,788. Nick Castro with 2, 3,416. Jen Caldwell with 1, 5,918. And Kaylin McEwen with 1, 3,725. The contracts returned. This is where you see kind of the growth happening. Wes Allen with 4, Britt Honeycutt and Brooklyn McDermott with 3, Karen Allen with 2, and Jennifer Caldwell and Travis Green 1 each. We have so many people in pre-licensing. I think this number is probably going to triple or quadruple for next month, which everything you guys have going on.
Yeah, and as y'all know, that's my favorite slide. Like, that is where the magic happens. If you want to build a business here, it all starts with a contract, talking to someone, getting them licensed, getting them in the system, and then guess what? They become a writer. And you get a couple of those, you get 6 of those, you're on an AO run. It's pretty exciting. So where are we tracking for our goals for the base shop? We were wanting 6 agents with writers. So like I talked about, our favorite thing is celebrating with those that want to build a business here and want to not only be recruiting, but get people productive and profitable as quickly as possible. So we want 6 agents with writers. I think we have 7. Wes, Karen, Britt, Nicholas, Brooklyn, Jennifer, and Kaylin. Is that 7? Or 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. So you guys are just killing it. I think we had already hit that last week, and then I think we've added another this week. So that's amazing. That definitely will be going up in the goals for March. And then 25 writers. We're at 21 month to date. We're looking for 4 more. So if you haven't written this month, looking to add you to the mix. And then 140,000 submitted. We need 58,000 more to get to that goal.
Love it. And then promotion roadmap. We're wrapping this up. I know we talk about this over and over and over again, but we have new people on here every time. We have people that are focused on their next commission increase. February is going to end here in a second. March is coming. But we want you guys focused on this slingshot. And just remember, in March, it's going to be a 5-week turn-in because of the way the Fridays fall. Last Friday of the month is the end of the month for submit. And so this one we have 5 weeks. So you have to submit some kind of business into opt 4 out of the 5 weeks. And then you have to issue on the right-hand side there, depending on what level you're going for. You can only go up 5% at a time, but either 5,000, 7,500, 12,500. So just be focused on that. Where are you at? We're hitting your goals this month. Let's start gear up and focusing for next month on this. You do not want to miss it. And if you're outside of this, I think a lot of people are like, hey, I'm not even eligible for Slingshot. You've been here long enough. You know what you need to do. No, but I mean, we always focus on the new people. We want you to learn this. This is your first 3 promotions. We want you guys to knock these out as fast as possible.
And if you needed to do following this meeting, if you don't already have this printed out and on your board next to your desk, it should be everywhere you are. It should be a constant reminder of where you're going. And it's all in the numbers. And in terms of what's possible, it maps it out. And as we coach you guys, work with you on where your goals are, what you want out of this business, it all comes back to this. It all goes back to, okay, here we are. This is where you can be in 6 months. This is the work that goes into getting there. And so make this your roadmap, have it nearby, and let us help you if you're not getting the success that you're looking for, if you're not growing at the pace that you want to grow here.
All right, and then little weekly meeting updates for tomorrow. The mechanics with Michael Matthews is canceled, and so the new agent activation, as we will just be out of pocket. But the good news is everything else we have going for the rest of the week, the dial training, the live dialing, the builders calls, the master agency, Friday's live dialing, and Danny's call, which will be coming immediately after this at 9 o'clock Central. Make sure to dial in on that. We posted on Band. It's not a Zoom, it's just dial in and listen. So just tomorrow is going to be the only big difference that you'll see. And of course, we're not having our base shop Zoom at 8 o'clock on Monday, 9 a.m. Monday mornings, because you're on it right now. So you did a good job. But that is all we have for that. What we really want to do is we actually have two different people we want to talk to tonight. So Megan, I know you're on here. If you can unmute. I know we kind of introduced you to the team a little bit as being our subject matter expert in this, just with IULs and annuities. So we just want to kind of hear from you a little bit of, I know you're working with.
First, just a little bit of.
Oh, yes, right.
And then we get into
right, that's why she's here.
Megan is amazing. Can I get an amen? Is that anyone that has talked to her? She's wonderful. But we want you to know her. You know, this is a relationship business, and having her as a subject matter expert for annuities, advanced markets for our team is amazing. But even what's more amazing is knowing her and building that relationship with her. And so just want to get a little bit of your background, Megan. Who are you? Why are you so passionate about this? And then we'll get into some of the practical how to work with Megan.
You got it. Sorry, I'm working through two screens, having a little, Zoom issue. Too many tabs open, I guess, right now. But me, yeah. So if anyone sees a blank screen, there is another one of me that you can see my video. But basically, me in a nutshell: 14 years, property and casualty, life and annuities. Worked for a captive agency. Last year, my book of business, I think I had 22 million in property and casualty, and I wrote $1 million in life and annuities. So when it comes to life and annuities, I kind of know how to get you to the next level. And that's what I'm here to do, and help anyone that's, wants me to partner with them to do, to get you to that next level of issuing and writing the higher volumes of premium. Any questions that you have, my number's posted on everything. Feel free to reach out, call me at any time. Like I said, I do have 13 plus years of knowledge when it comes to life insurance and annuities. I know every company in and out and what's the best fit for your client. So what I'm looking to do is help anyone that finds the money, help you segue to find that money, and get you to that next level so we can all grow together.
Awesome. I love that. So Megan, why Symmetry? Like, tell a little bit about why you left where you were and what you're seeking, kind of what your goals are now.
So the best part about Symmetry is the fact that you're engrossed with a company that cares about what you want to do, provide life insurance, provide that protection for people, and they equipped you with the carriers and the training and the resources. So coming in from already having that knowledge, it was nice to see a company that actually physically knows what to do to get you to that higher level of success. So I instantly was drawn to it. But then I was drawn to this base shop because of all of you, that you actually reach out and want to know your individual agents on a personal level. So that was really actually appealing to me, seeing how you work with, your producers and your agents, and you help everyone grow to that next level. So kudos to you guys. I mean, because the way that you embrace everyone is truly what helps everyone else succeed. And the platform that's available between providing the leads and the resources, you don't find that in your captive agents or your private agencies. It's something that Symmetry is really honed in on, and they want everyone to succeed. In the captive world or the private sector, they actually don't want everyone to succeed. They're in for themselves. So here you could actually feel that drive, that motivation of, here's what you could do, and we're going to help you get to the next level. And for my transition, it was, I come from a background of working 90 plus hours a week. I think my daughter first learned that my last name was different than hers because she hears me say on the phone all the time, hello, this is Megan Armale. And she hears that all day long. And it's just because, from my old job, it was what I did every single day from 7 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, and I didn't have a life. Here I actually could have a life, could step away, could be that mother, be that wife, and it's something that I'm embracing and not something that I had the opportunity to do before. So that's why, in a nutshell, kind of sort of side, small wise, how I came over and what I love about this company, what I love about this agency, and what I'm about.
I love that.
Well, I appreciate your perspective because when I came into insurance, all I knew was this. I had a buddy that worked for Farmers. I talked to him for 20 minutes. I was like, nope, not for me. Not saying anything bad about it. Not for me. And it wasn't until people like yourself, Megan, that kind of came in here and started seeing this. They go, this doesn't exist. And I was like,
it doesn't.
I go, I don't know. That's all this is where I started. But as I've interviewed more people and heard different things and all the horror stories, I have to stop and ask people, I go, why are you asking me about who touches your money? They go, oh, I worked at this, something bad happened and all of a sudden they weren't getting paid anymore and all these different things. So I just appreciate your perspective being in here. I'm kind of going, you're, 13, 14 years of experience and what you see compared to a lot of us. I mean, I'm looking at so many faces on here, no insurance experience, no insurance, there's a couple on here maybe, but I appreciate that perspective.
No, it's amazing. I mean, you kind of feel that embrace. And honestly, from my years of working with, my captive carriers to everyone else, it's a whole different spectrum. And the level of support to grow and to be motivated and just know that you're not alone on your own separate island, it speaks so highly of this company and this agency. So anyone that doesn't have any insurance experience, you've stepped foot in the right direction by being here.
That's awesome. So Megan, so as each of these folks are either, just beginning to talk to clients, it may be warm market, it may be their own family and friends, it may be putting a post out or working our leads. What are some questions that from a very, very practical level can open the door to conversations on the types of products that you have expertise in, to then see if it could be an opportunity to then partner with you?
So I think the biggest thing when you're having that conversation is just finding the money. Where does everyone have their savings? Is it in a CD? Is it in an old 401k? Is it already invested somewhere? Or again, what do they want to make sure is protected? Is it college fund for their children? Is it their retirement account? Having that conversation, but with that conversation, you want it to lead towards where the money is and what their goals are. So asking how much they're making on a yearly basis, asking what their spouse does, asking what their long-term goals are, and if they have anything set aside for savings for those just in case needs and funds. That's the biggest thing, just making sure that you're asking those questions. And if you're able to find, whether it's $10,000 or whether they're making, $80,000 a year, whatever it might be, that's when you will say, hey, I have someone that could help you make your money work for you, and just segue over to me and I'll be able to get in touch with the client directly and guide them to where they need to go.
So when you say have your money work for you, what is the major pain point that you're trying to uncover, or because they may not even understand necessarily what that means.
Sure. So a lot of people, they have their money sitting in a savings account, or they have their money in a CD, or they have it under a mattress somewhere because they're afraid of the market. They're afraid of what could happen. And what I do is I provide the ability through IULs to have that secure transfer and growth where their money is always going to increase in value. Their money is always going to have a great rate of return. It's completely secure. And within 5 years, they could go from $5,000 to $10,000 and not even be aware of it because it's sitting in that growth and they don't have to do anything. So that's what I do. I'm able to literally have their money work for them without them even knowing about it and show them the possibilities and the potential that's available for them.
So when someone's doing a handoff to you, what is I mean, I think you kind of said, hey, this is how we uncover it, but I mean, how have you seen just the best success? We always say, hey, we got Megan, she's an expert in the field. But what do you think from us, that would help you the most as we're giving you the information and even in making the introduction?
So Jennifer Caldwell actually did it perfectly this week. She had a client that was talking about growth fund, and honestly, it was the best segue ever. She just said, listen, I'm not familiar with this, but I do have someone that is. I'm going to introduce you. She sent an email over to the both of us, and I took it over from there. I set up a call with the clients, and we're taking it from one possible submission to maybe now 4 possible submissions. And this client has a few other coworkers that we're going to work with. So it's literally, if you're able to uncover where the money is or their need for IULs or their need for annuities, just do a general introduction with me and with the client, and I'll be able to take it from there.
And so from my perspective in this business, I want to kind of tell people how valuable I see that. IULs are a lot of work. Annuities are even more work. They can be done poorly and they can be done really well. They require a lot of follow-up and attention. And so they're one of those things that, being a big producer, I was like, well, I want all the APV. And what happens in this that I've seen over and over and over again is by kind of chasing that and not being good at it, you lose it. Right. One of the statistics that Symmetry had on annuities was, out of all the annuities that were submitted that the agent tried to do themselves, 56 or 58% of them ever went on the books. So if you have an annuity opportunity, flip a coin, go put in a ton of work, and maybe you'll get paid and maybe you won't. But then when they use someone that was an expert in the annuity field, it went up to like 85, 90%. And so now you're not flipping a coin anymore. And now you're putting in someone's hands that can really help that client while you go off and find another one. It is this, I mean, it is like, I implore people, when you find something that's, you find yourself chasing or you're not an expert in, run it up to Megan, hand that off, be there. If the client needs support, if Megan needs you to touch base, be there for client. That's my big thing, is you have the initial relationship, be there for any support that needs to be there. But don't chase the APV, because you will find yourself losing it. And that's just statistical data that we have that is company wide. And that's why we know having an SME here is so important for getting clients protected. And then I guarantee you what Megan can do, maybe I would find $300 a month in APV, but with what she can uncover, she probably can find 500 or 600 or 800. So now, yeah, maybe we're giving up commission, but we're not flipping the coin anymore. And I can promise you, typically the app submitted is going to be bigger than something that you would ever get, and it will actually get issued statistically. So that's, Megan, that's how I see a huge value that you add just on profitability for everybody in this business.
No, and I mean, that's what I'm happy to do. Oh, sorry, fix that a little bit. That's what I'm happy to do. And honestly, it's not, if you're not familiar with what you're doing and what you're saying and how you're segueing in there, submitting an annuity could get rejected in 2 seconds. And there goes your entire credibility with the client. And with IULs, there's certain things that need to be done on the back end. And it's going to take you a long time to figure that out. So utilize me. Let me do the heavy lifting that I've learned in this industry, and get your client from maybe 1 policy to maybe 5 policies to maybe 10 referrals, and just grow together. Yes,
love it. Megan, we're excited to have you. Grateful for you on so many levels.
We
can talk about this another time, but there is a commission split. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I'm just giving all my business over to Megan, it you know, there is a commission split that happens. And so essentially just by doing that handoff, you know, you'll earn, you know, a percentage of that, a healthy percentage of it. But you know, what we encourage, especially for those just getting started, is keep the first things first. You know, that whole, you know, keep it simple, stupid. This business can be super overwhelming if you let it be. And so just focus on the life insurance, just focus on term, whole life, and then leverage other resources, you know, to help you on the other pieces. I know we've seen historically, you know, as Marty, he got really excited as IULs and started chasing those. And guess what?
I wrote them all the time. I never got paid on any of them, but I submitted IULs like crazy. And then
may have been at the top of the leaderboard, but it was not. And so, you know, just be wise as in where you're spending your time and leverage these resources. So I want to say Karen Allen was who recruited Megan, and so she's on Karen's team, and just so very blessed to have met you, Megan, and to have you as a partner in this business and a partner for this team. So we will continue to put Megan's information out on the Basehop chat, but feel free to reach out to her, leverage her, and any questions, you know, there are no dumb questions. I mean, we knew pretty quickly, we were like, whoa, she knows way more than we do. So we're going to stop asking the questions and let her do that. But so thank you so much, Megan, for being on. We're excited to work with you.
No, excited to be here, and thank you for the opportunity.
You bet. Thank you. All right. Well, we got one more. We're double dipping tonight, and so we've got the one T Matthews on here. Michael Matthews is actually in our kitchen right now because he's coming down to Mexico with us and drove down from Kansas City. But Michael Matthews, I want you to unmute a little bit, and we want people to get to know you. First of all, thank you for being you and just showing everybody what's possible. I mean, I could say that to so many other people on here too, but like, I love this business. It's just kind of waiting for the next person to show us what's possible because we haven't hit the limits here yet. But I think a lot of people want to hear a little bit of your backstory, how you found us, and then we'll ask you some more questions, digging in a little bit deeper.
Absolutely. Well, Marty and Hillary, as always, thank you guys for having me on the call, asking me to be on the call, and just being just awesome mentors. Couldn't ask for any better mentors than you guys. Just be able to know I have you guys as one of the many support pillars now that I have by coming into Symmetry. I know you guys are one of those pillars for sure. But like you said, Michael Matthews, Director Chris and Andrea Smith, and the Marty Valor, Ben Safety Board, Danny Young hierarchy. And before I actually get into my story, one, Megan, I'll be giving you a call to kind of learn some more from you because absolutely, I can be one of the poster boys for the keep it simple stupid. So IULs, annuities, not my thing. I could write a million apps, but those won't be part of it. So if I can leverage you, learn from you, and throw people your way, then absolutely. So I'll definitely be reaching out from you and
Can't wait.
get a training from you. So you guys definitely utilize her because everybody these days on Razor Ridge or just leads in general are looking for IULs, annuities, better ways to invest their money. So definitely a great resource there. So I'm glad I was on the call tonight just to hear that, to be honest. But getting a little into my background a little bit, just kind of how I grew up and just kind of coming into Symmetry. So I grew up, I'm one of 6 kids, grew up a single mom. My mom and dad split when I was about 5, 6 years old, just due to my dad was on drugs. He was addicted to drugs, the hard stuff. Whatever you can imagine that hard stuff being, that's probably what it was. You guys can use your imagination for that. But growing up, I kind of knew from an early age that there was a choice to be made. I feel like inherently everybody knows right from wrong. Everybody knows what a good choice and a bad choice is. Everybody knows what the right choice for them is and what's not. And I knew somehow something told me, even when I was 7, 8 years old, something told me that. But my elder brothers and sisters, I'm the second youngest. They all decided to not learn from my parents' mistakes and to the addiction of drugs, but they decided to either follow that path into addiction themselves or with dealing. But me, I decided to learn from it. I decided, hey, like that's not the lifestyle I want to live. I saw the consequences that came from it. I saw the problems and the stress that came with dealing with all those things. I was like, that's not the life I want to live. That's not the life I want to have for the family that I will eventually build. So I saw that. Now, with that being said, since there was so much going on, one of the biggest things was with all that stuff going on, my mom and my dad, they had so many different things to focus on. There was nobody just as a kid that believed in me, that to show me the path, show me the path of right from wrong, besides what I knew inherently, show somebody to believe in my dreams and believe into what I wanted. And as you guys know, I have a basketball background, played basketball growing up, played in college, which I'll get into in a moment. But as I was growing up, it was just kind of all on me until I got into about 8th grade. I met two gentlemen named Jamal Coleman and Devin Davis, who I hold them as my brothers. Those were the first two people in my life who actually believed. They poured time into me and they actually believed in me and said that I can do something. And as a kid, we all strive and we all want attention. And that was something to me personally that I never got before. So when they believed in me, it was something that without a doubt, like I thrived off of, and I didn't want to let them down. So I poured my heart and soul into basketball. Then going into high school, if any of you guys are teachers or have a teacher background, I thank you guys for what you do and who you are. The reason being, I was able to meet a woman. She was my school counselor going into 9th grade. Her name was Michelle Kosha. She was that mother figure for me, that role model for me, the person she cared, she loved, like she did it all. The things I wasn't able to get at home, she was able to provide. But it doesn't mean she was easy on me and just let me off the hook in school. She was somebody who was very strict. She was to the point. Like the way I was taught is like how I like to teach, but she said it straight. If I was not doing what I had to do in school, she told me. She was like, "Hey, Michael, I understand you have things going on at home, but we're in school. You can't let you can't let those things come into affecting your dreams and affecting your goals." I've always been a very big pioneer, always had a ton of big dreams. Like I wanted to go to Duke when I was younger. I wanted to go to play basketball. If you guys aren't Duke fans, don't come at me for it. Don't know why I wanted to go to Duke. It was a Coach K thing. Just I was a basketball guy, so don't come at me for that. But wanted to have a 4.0 and I was able to achieve that. So she came in my life and was throughout my whole high school career. She was that shining light for me. She was that role model, that pillar that I was able to lean on no matter how tough things got at home. So that going through my high school career, knowing I was able to have even more people to believe in me at that point meant a ton to me. Now that doesn't mean the obstacles and things stop there. As I said, I played basketball. I had very big dreams, wanted to go to college, wanted to go to the NBA, but things weren't easy just because I had a couple people supporting me. No, I just faced natural things. And I'm not here to share my story with you guys to let you know, oh, this is how hard my life was. This is all the things that happened to me because we all have our own backstories. We all have our own backstories. The thing is, though, we have to embrace it. We have to accept the struggle we went through. We have to embrace it and then share it. My goal for sharing my story to anybody is that you guys are able to take one nugget from it. What that nugget may be doesn't matter, but for you guys, it's going to resonate with at least one person. That's all my goal is to be able to help inspire and encourage, to let you know, like, I understand your life is tough, but it doesn't matter how tough your life may have been or the things you have gone through. You are the one still responsible to dictate what your future looks like. So that's what I am here to help do and open that perspective. I'm a very big perspective person on just hearing other people's perspectives. I'm pretty sure you guys heard a million times. I like to ask a ton of questions, and that's never going to stop because I may understand a certain topic or may understand something myself, but I don't know how Marty understands it. I just want to see If I can see the world through Marty's eyes a little bit by asking a question, I'm going to ask that question. If I can see the world through Hillary's eyes for a little bit by asking a question, I'm going to ask that question because I'm going to learn something new. My pride and my ego was not high enough to be able to say, hey, I'm going to stop learning. I'm not going to stop being a student, not of the game of insurance industry, but just a student of life. So with that being said, went through college, went through high school and college. I broke a couple ankles, broke a couple wrists, you know, missed some years of basketball, and then COVID happened. Stopped everything. Unless you were playing major Division I basketball or professional, then that was the only way you were still playing. But everything stopped for me at that point. Was in nationals, didn't even get to finish the national tournament at the Division II level because of COVID. And then during that year, just kind of took the year off and trying to figure things out to do in May of 2021, just scrolling on Indeed, you know, trying to like, hey, well, I know I'm going back to school in the fall, continue to play basketball, but I was looking for my significant other Ida, which you guys will see more of on these calls and kind of participating in the team and within the business. She was working at Target. I was looking for a job for her on Indeed. Came through, scrolling down, and it said, collegiate athletes 75 to 300K. I was like, well, that's me, but why is it 75 to 300K on Indeed? That should not be on here. Clicked on it. It talked about life insurance, knew absolutely zero about life insurance. But the one thing that stuck out to me was it said I can build a business. In my life, I always knew I wanted to build a business. I just didn't know what business that would be. My freshman year of my college career, I broke my arm and I had to become a mail carrier for a year, which is probably one of the best. I'm not gonna say the best thing because there's a ton of things that could possibly be the best thing, but it was a very eye-opening thing. Because when I got that job when I was 18, it was, hey, don't leave that job. That's a great career. You get great benefits. Like you can retire in 20, 30 years. It's a government job. You're taken care of. But when I got in there, one of the biggest things that I saw was one, the culture. It was completely negative. Everybody was negative. Nobody liked their job. Everybody hated being there and showing up. Everybody had arthritis. Everybody was just kind of hurt from walking and just counting down the years. But they made $2,000 every 2 weeks and they were happy. They were putting some money in some 401k, which you celebrate people where they are and that's where they wanted to be. But I'm like, I know this is not what life is supposed to be. This is what life is not supposed to be for me. So I consciously wanted to make a difference. I started learning a little bit about investing. So when I saw the opportunity to build a business here at Symmetry, I took advantage of it. I applied on Indeed. There was a link to another website. So it was called Protector Squad. I went on there. I filled out a ton of information. Like what are 3 things about you that'll help you succeed at this job? I went into so much detail, you guys. I didn't hear back. It was 2 days went by. I didn't hear anything back. I called Hillary. Hey, my name is Michael. I filled out an application on Indeed and on your guys' website. And then she sent me over to Chris and Andrea. And that's how I got plugged into their team. Went through my test, had to take it 4 times. So not just once, had to take it 4 times. So it doesn't matter what the journey is. It's always been obstacles, but I made the choice. If there's anything you guys are going to take away from my story, it's going to be it's the power of choice. The choices you guys make truly do matter. Whether you can or can't, you're right either or. You're right both ways. It's up to you at the end of the day. So I made the choice, hey, I'm going to see this through. I don't give up at all. I have 100% confidence in myself, whether I know what I'm talking about or I don't. So with it came into this business. And then I can go more detail of that, but I'm going to stop for a moment because that was a lot of information really quickly.
There's so much that I want to unpack.
That was awesome.
There's so much to unpack there, but I love how it's the choices that you make. I mean, you set the record in the agency for the most times taking the insurance test. You know, I don't even think you took the right one like twice.
Nope.
You set all the records for doing this wrong, but I love it because this isn't really a system of doing everything right? It's really of doing just the right things right, and it's okay to fail and be wrong. And because when you came in here, you were terrible at this, man. I mean, you were one of the worst that we've seen in a while. So, and I mean, but I love it though because you said it's like it's your choice to make when you did it. So we've shared your story, but so many times. But I want to hear it from you a little bit. So when you came in here, what did it look like? How'd you buy leads? Because what were you, how did you write your appointments? We were talking about it earlier. I want people to know like what it looks like to make choices and where you get to. So tell how you did it.
Yeah. So coming in here, like I told you guys, my goal in May when I was looking for that job for ID, my goal in September, August was to be back in school to play basketball. So I didn't have a job. To be honest with you, I don't even know where my money came from. I don't know how I was buying food. I don't know how I was living. So I don't know what I thought I was going to do when I came into this business and I had to buy leads. But one of the biggest things I know is I never questioned it. I knew nothing about life insurance. They said, oh, you have to buy leads in order to make this much money. Okay, well, looks like I have to buy leads. So with that, I didn't want to go get a job. Like coming into this, I didn't want to go get a 9 to 5 or a part-time because what I knew immediately that was going to take me away from the business. I wasn't going to be able to plug into the team calls because back then we had Tuesday, Thursday huddles in the morning. I mean, I wasn't going to be able to plug into those calls. It was going to affect my dial time. It was going to affect my appointment time. So what I did is I just went out and did DoorDash, Uber, just delivering food. I used to wake up at 3 in the morning to be out on the road, pick people up, drop them off at work, drop them off at the airport, in order to have money to pay for leads, as well as just afford my own bills. Because me and Ida, we had our own apartment at the time, so to make sure we're keeping the roof over our head as well as being able to have food. But I did that to be able to give myself the opportunity to be successful in this business. That's one of the biggest things that I see with new agents that whether it's not putting enough activity in, whether it's not being the figure it out person to find a way to make the money to invest in the leads to secure your future. You have to give yourself the opportunity and you have to figure out what this opportunity means to you. And you have to figure out what you have to do. Just so with that, woke up 3. I was like from on the road, woke up at 3, on the road by 4, from like 4 to 7, 4 to 8, did Uber. We had our team meeting at around, I believe it was like 9 or 10. Went back, did Uber again or DoorDash for lunch from like 12 to 2, 12 to 3. Dialed, ran appointments, back on the road again from like 8 to 10, 8 to 11. Repeated it. But I didn't have a choice. My back was against the wall. It was either, hey, it's this or nothing. So when I came in this business, like Marty said, it's not like, oh, I wrote an app here or there to be able to afford to be able to reinvest in my leads each week. Absolutely not. When I came into the business in July, my first dial session was July 12th. Came in, I wrote 2 apps. It took me about 2-3 weeks to write my first app. It was on a husband and wife. Also wrote an app on my friend. He was about to have a child, so he wanted an app. This is when you could write Forsters in New York. Can't anymore if you're in New York. So sorry, you guys. You got to get a license in another state. But so wrote 3 apps my first month. August, I wrote nothing. But to be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't putting that much activity in August. That was on me. Don't know what fell off. Chris called me. I think it was like this 2.5 weeks into August. Like, hey, what's going on, buddy? Like, haven't heard from you at all. Hey, just generic excuse. I definitely lied. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. Yeah, I've been diving. It's been tough. Like, and I probably put in 100, 200 dials at that point. So really not a lot. In the month of August, I was definitely falling off. I was on all the meetings, just being a fan of the culture, but I wasn't doing anything in August. That's why I didn't write any apps. September came, don't know what changed, but I hit that was the first month of Slingshot, hit my first Slingshot, did 7,100 that month out of nowhere. Nothing changed. October came and October came. This is where I fell on my face, you guys. This is where the story gets fun and it gets real. I fell on my face because in September I started learning more about the products. I started learning more about the products, more about the business. And when I was on my appointments, I started doing a lot of this. I started talking a lot. I started telling a lot. Instead of asking questions and caring about the family and what their situation is, I just want to tell, hey, this is how great this. I started becoming a salesman. And after when you feel if you feel like you're selling in this business, you're not doing this business right if you feel like you're a salesman. And that's where I fell on my face. So that first week fell on my face. Then what I started to do, as I was listening to SoundClouds, which I'm doing all the right things, but I started just throwing stuff at the wall, trying to figure out what was going to stick. And that's not how you do this business. Like I said, giving yourself the opportunity, you have to stick to the script, stick to a presentation, and give it the opportunity to be successful. Give yourself the opportunity to find your rhythm and flow within that script to be successful. It may take you a week, it may take you 2-3 weeks or a month, but give yourself that opportunity. Nothing is overnight, nothing is going to happen with that week, but I didn't give myself that opportunity. So November came and I was like, okay, I understand what I'm doing wrong. Let's go to work. So I started everything back over from step one. Like step one, all right, I'm not going to get hung up anymore on leads, like on that first dial, getting through that first line. So I reconstructed my script. I was, okay, how do I get through this first line as efficiently as possible? Boom, now I know how to get through the first line. How do I book an appointment? All right, now I know how to book an appointment. Well, I'm booking appointments, nobody's showing up to those appointments. And mind you, at that time, it's not like I'm booking 5 or 6 appointments, you guys. There was weeks where I was booking 12, 13, 14, 15 appointments in a week and literally nobody would show up. I remember sending text messages to Chris and Andrea, hey, here are my stats for the week. 450 dials, 15 appointments booked, 0 showed. I was sending those stats, but it wasn't sending those stats with a problem like, hey, these leads suck. Hey, the system's not working. There's something going on. It's, hey, this is my activity. This is what happened this week. Next week, I'm gonna have 2 appointments on there that actually show up. So I wasn't going to them with a problem just to have a problem. I was going to them with a problem with a solution. That's a very big difference between the two. So now that people were showing up, now I was learning how to close. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have heard this before, but I literally sat on an appointment. I think it was the first week of December. It was with a husband and wife, and it was going to be a big policy. It was going to be like $3,000 APV. They were literally asking me for the sale. They were literally ready to do the app at the end of that appointment. And I was like, no, just take your time. Like, I know it's a big decision. Like, go ahead, like take a couple of days to think about it. And they were asking me to pull the application up. No, just take your time. And didn't write that app, by the way, even though they were asking for me. But that's how bad I was, you guys. So that was December. Still doing Uber. I was investing into this business, investing into the leads. I was behind on my rent. I missed November, I missed December, I missed January because I was like, I'm gonna make this work. Also, I looked up the rules in New York. It looks like you could miss like 9 months of rent payments after COVID and you won't get evicted. So I used the rules to my advantage there. So I made sure everything was taken care of and I had a roof over my head. But with that, but yeah, I was giving it my all. There was literally no excuses. So during that time, Marty had 2 mini conferences where he had people come into the business, come from other hierarchies, other leaders, come on and pour in. And those were, I think that was huge for me because, like I said, it gives you the opportunity to hear other people's perspective. Like I said, I'm a very big perspective person. So with it, I believe he actually came on the first one, I believe, and I didn't actually talk to him till December, but his name was Jeremy Whitaker, which you guys will hear his name from me on conference calls and national calls. But he came on, he shared his story, he talked a little bit about his process. It just resonated with me. One of the biggest things, and this is why it's so important to get on team calls, why it's so important to get on national calls, because you're going to hear something somebody that's going to resonate with you, their story, their perspective, their process. It's going to resonate with you, and they're going to say the same thing that Marty says. They're going to say the same thing I says, but it's just going to click a little bit different, and that's all you need. That's why it's so important to plug in and associate. And even when you're struggling, that's why it's even more important to plug in, because when you're struggling, get closer to the fire, not farther away from it. That's one thing I see a ton of new agents do is when they're struggling, they start stepping away from the culture instead of plugging in and digging their feet in even more. So I heard him. I'm like, I have to talk to that guy. Reached out to Marty and I was like, hey, I got to talk to him. Marty gave me his contact information. We was able to set up a call in December, and this is at the end of December. think it was like December 22nd or 23rd or something like that, right before Christmas. And he just broke down my presentation, just broke it completely down, like, and just poured an hour and a half into me, which I appreciate a ton, because he doesn't make a dollar off of me. And that's one of the most beautiful things about this culture as well, is there's going to be people, they don't know you, they never even seen your face, but they're willing to pour that time, energy, and effort in you and believe in you. Going back to my story, people, I just that belief, having that belief in somebody and putting that, instilling that into somebody means a ton to me. So him being able to pour that time into me meant a ton. So with that, I thought I was going to take off. Nope. My car broke down and I wasn't able to do Uber anymore. So now I had like, I don't remember how much money. I just put in my first standing lead order to get A leads that first week of January. And I think I had like $300 in my account at the time. And then that A lead order came out, and I think I got like 10 or 15, I don't remember. And then now I had negative $200 in my bank account. So with a broken car and that choice I made before I bought those leads, I'm like, I didn't have money to pay the rent. So even though that was a choice, I could have put something towards it. And there wasn't enough money to pay the whole thing. But I was like, what can I use? I can use this money to fix the car, or I can use this money to buy leads to generate more money so I can pay everything. So that was what my mindset was. And then I thought that first week of January, I was going to come out with those A leads and kill it. Nope, caught COVID, lost my voice, couldn't talk at all. But I was on every meeting doing hand signs, throwing thumbs up. Like I didn't miss anything. Like nobody would have thought I had COVID unless they tried to talk to me. And then that second week of January is when I came out, and it wasn't a magical word that Jeremy Whitaker told me. It wasn't anything special. Honestly, what I truly believe it was, I was just doing the right things, the right things long enough. Like you guys will hear Danny Young say it. That is something that I believe in a ton, and I will tell any new agent. Like Marty said earlier, if you just stay in symmetry, stay in the system, stay in the culture, believe in it long enough, it's going to drag you to wealth. It's going to drag you to success. And that's honestly what I believe happened to me. I just had great mentors in Marty and Hillary and Chris and Andrea, and plugged into everything. Like I used to do Uber and my camera was on, participating in the calls, probably shouldn't while I was driving. I used to be embarrassed that I was even doing it. Chris used to ask me, hey, why are you always driving around? I just like thinking about things, you guys. So, but now I embrace that story. It's my story. Why do I have to be embarrassed for my story? Because now look at where things have come just a year later. I'm about to hit agency and we're going to Mexico. And this is really just the beginning, to be honest, you guys. And for some of you guys who are struggling right now, this may be your first few months. Don't give up, because last year, I will never forget this. Marty held an in-person conference in February. He did Rising Stars, top agents in 2021. And January and February is when I started getting momentum. So I'm like, oh yeah, like I should be on there. With those rising stars, I was not a rising star of 2021. But I didn't, it was like, oh, it wasn't, dang, like they kind of spited me a little bit. Like I should have been on there. It was no, I didn't deserve to be on there. We're talking about 2021 here. I did like 19,000 hours of business and only issued 11 within like 6 months time. So I told myself I will not miss that list ever again. I will be on that list next year. I will get that award. I will not make. He also announced the Mexico trip from last year at that conference. Did not win that trip. I was like, I will not miss another Agency of Allure trip. And I just made the decision, going back to the power of choice. So now we're here. Now it's what, February of 2022.
How much did you write last year?
271, I believe, 271,000.
And what number were you in the entire agency?
Yeah,
I was number one.
He knows. Yeah. 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 You went from couldn't write a policy to the number one writer, just because I think you just believed in yourself, right? I mean, that's the part about this, and that's one of our biggest cornerstones in this business. And it's what I talk to every agent. I go, do you believe that you can do it? That's ultimately what it is. And I love this because there is no formula. I look at every different person. We have every just like every background, everything possible on here. But Michael, the one thing I love about you, man, is you played the hand you were dealt, right? You didn't complain about it. You didn't fold. I think a lot of people go, oh, well, I have this and I have that. I'm just going to fold. Like you didn't. You're just like, no, I'm gonna. Hey, bluff if you have to, right? You might have been dealt crap. Bluff if you have to, right? But find a way to win. And that's, I think, the thing I love about your story is, guys, you're not going to have his. That's his. You're not allowed to have his, right? That is his and his alone. And everyone here is going to have their own story. It's just a matter of what is it going to take you 10 years to get there? I don't know. Are you going to break records and do it in like 24 months? Maybe. Are you going to be slow and steady? I don't know. But that's the big piece of this is like, I don't know what you were going to have to do. Michael has no idea. He'll ask you, he'll find out, he'll ask you questions about it. But like, that's the piece I love about this. We could bring on person after person in symmetry, and you'll hear some similarities. They had to do what they had to do in their circumstances. And that's what I get so much from you is that piece of it. Is like, you had to do what you had to do. Made some hard, scary decisions. I'll be honest, I'm listening to you going like, I don't think I would have done it.
And honestly, no, I'm pretty sure you guys wouldn't have blamed me. Like once my car broke down, if I would have like told you my situation, it was like, Michael, like you may have to go get a job, Michael. Like, and if I would have quit, you guys probably wouldn't have blamed me because most people probably would have quit. But like I said, it's just the choice and the belief in yourself. That's one thing I've never wavered. And like even now, like there's weeks where I don't have good weeks, but the confidence level is not confidence in feeling like I can close every single person I sit down with. The confidence level is knowing that I know if I put the activity in and I have the appointments on my calendar, I'm going to be able to close those, but it stems from the activity. I know if I just put the activity in that week, I know I'll be able to write an app. It doesn't matter how much it may be. May have to put $400 in that week or $500 that week. The results will come because it always starts with the activity. So that's how I believe in myself. I just believe that I know I'll be able to put the work in. And that's where it all starts. If you believe you can put the work in, then everything else will begin to fall in place.
And I think that's what's so cool. Andrea Smith always says like, there's no secret to Michael's success. It's he worked harder than anyone else. And Michael, would you add to that?
My expectations for me are up here, so I feel like I could have worked harder, but I will say I definitely did work hard. I was writing apps on a bucket, so I don't know how many people would have did that.
Yeah, he didn't have a desk chair, so he literally was sitting. I don't know, it was a paint bucket or
it was a bucket.
Yeah, it was
cardboard
like
box was his desk.
Yeah, it was literally a bucket, like a bucket that you'll see at like Walmart. It was like a plastic blue bin that I was sitting on that eventually caved in. But thankfully I started writing apps so I could buy a chair.
So you've got 1 week. He's in his last week of qualifying for agency ownership. So 3-month qualification and headed to Mexico. Gonna be writing some business on the beach this week, I'm sure. So you guys cheer him on, cheer his team on this last week. But what's next for you, Michael? What can we support you on? What can we celebrate with you on? And what's next for you?
Honestly, what you guys can do this is always a tough question. I don't know why people keep asking me this question. I don't know. I never know what to say when people ask how to support me, but just honestly, just knowing that you guys are there just supporting me and like just think like that's more than I ever could have asked for. Like literally that's more than I ever could have asked for. So if I was to be specific about one thing, it just be to cheer my team on, the agents that are on my team fighting for what they want. Trying just to stick their flag here at Symmetry, just supporting them on, and in turn, just they obviously support you on because that's just the culture we're building. That's the Symmetry culture, Symmetry way. Is to support each other, pull each other up, and also compete with them. I'm very competitive. So you guys keep killing it, like on the Velour base shop, because next month I'll have my own base shop, and then I'll be competing with you guys. So the harder you guys fight, the higher you guys push your numbers, means that we just have to fight all that harder, which in turn makes everybody better. That friendly competition. So you guys just keep being you, keep killing it, and just strive to be better just every day. That's all I can ask for.
Yeah.
I love it.
So what does a year from now look like for you and I Day? What does 5 years from now look like? What is your future?
A year from now, regional agency, what year from? Yeah, regional agency director, 125. That's a bold statement, but I believe it. Even if I fail 125, I'm gonna fail at 120. That's higher than other people's successes. So why not set a big goal? 5 years, that's a tough question. That's a tough question. Probably like in Egypt or something. Um, trying to restore some pyramids or something like that. But yeah, that's a tough question. That's gonna take me a while to process.
Well, I think the hard thing about that in this business is you're allowed to dream big here. You know, you've heard me say that over and over again, and you embrace that. I mean, like reconstructing pyramids in Egypt, that's awesome. That's not even on my radar, but like that's the hard part when we look at this is going like, where do you want it to be? And then the question is, why not bigger? Why not more? You get to build this as big as you are. And, you know, Michael, you said you wanted to get into a business that you get to build your own business. And I think what I'm seeing you embrace in this too is like, we're not in the insurance business. We're in the people business. And it's even when we're dealing with our clients or even with our agents, nobody cares how much you know. They just want to know how much you can, right? And that's the part I love about this. I love Megan that you see this coming in here, and it's what drew Hillary and I in. I mean, it's, you know, we came for the opportunity, but we stayed for the culture. We stayed for the fact that there's heart here, and we know like any one of you guys can come in here and impact your family's lives for forever. And you don't have to have a huge warm market. If you do, awesome. You can come in here, build this thing cold, warm. You can do it on your own pen. I mean, there is 1,000 different ways to do this because we're in the biggest industry that exists in the world that has produced the most millionaires. It's not even close than any other industry in the world. And we have the contracts, we have the carriers, we have the culture, we have the leads, the technology that's coming. Hold on, folks. Like the technology that's coming, it's crazy that no one has. And anybody can do this, whether you're a supplement store owner, corporate America, or a D1 athlete that was driving Uber, right? School teachers, we've got, I mean, nurses and car salesmen and solar sales reps, and we got, you know, network market. I can go on. I mean, real estate. I'm just looking through all this. What else? We got pro fishermen on here. I mean, we got everything, all kinds. This industry will allow you to get what you need. And Michael, thank you for leading the way for your story that I know it impacted people. So keep doing that.
Well, and we've heard this story. We've lived this story with Michael, and I have never heard you own your story like you did tonight. Yeah. And I just can't wait to see what's next for you. There is a path that has been paved for you on purpose. And so we are thankful for you, and for all the rest of you. Be on here a year from now telling your story. 6 months from now. Like, we cannot wait to see what path is available for you if you make those choices. And we're just so thankful for this opportunity to partner with you guys in a business that literally changes you from the inside out. And so go kill it this week. We will be in Mexico. We will be working. Please reach out. We want all of you on the next trip that we have. But we're excited to celebrate with Wes and with Michael and a couple others this week. But you guys inspire us each and every day. It is such a privilege to work with you, to truly be family with this team. So thanks for getting on a weird night. And thank you, Megan. Thank you, Michael. Just such an amazing call.
All right. We'll see you guys soon.
Thank you all.
Bye.